All right, so
We lost John for a minute. Well, there he
Hey,
is.
I'm live right now. So
Okay. Ready to go, Nick?
yeah, and we're live.
All right, everybody, welcome. Welcome to the first Trips Mystery Tube. We've got Marq Spusta and John Howard here. Hey guys, long time no see.
It's been a minute.
It's been a couple of minutes. Well, we're testing our tools here for anybody who's tuned into this. We're looking for a format that's going to move us forward and let artists have a forum again, since we're not going to be able to all get together physically for a while. So we're hoping this is going to be something that gives us new possibilities and new chances for artists to get out there, and for everybody who's into posters, and loves this thing the way we do, to have a new way to enjoy it. So my job here is to just kind of talk as little as possible. And John, Mark, you guys do whatever you feel like doing. And I think that what we wanted to start with was, how has this changed your world? As poster artists. I mean, it had to have been a stunner to see all the concerts and band tours and everything canceled, and a whole new world to have to deal with, and livelihoods are at stake with you guys. So what do you do? How do you adjust to a situation like this?
Well, it's working with what you've got available. My first gig of the season was going to be South by Southwest, and it was like a couple of weeks before that when they pulled everything. And basically, my first thought was to try to do something pretty much what we're doing now. And I started working toward that, and then ran into some people out of San Jose that used to be a sort of house party kind of people, and they were doing basically something like this, but it had music involved, and the artists were not quite as focused, although there were quite a few of them. And I just started like showing up at all their test runs and went to every one of those, just trying to learn like how to do this and how to get things out there. And it's been pretty successful. Nothing like the actual season, but there's some traction going on there and connections that are happening this way instead of in the world. So that's just kind of a brief start. Mark?
yeah, I always like saying this story to start my whole start of my pandemic, but I got my last poster gig of the year out. It was the Allman Brothers reunion, playing at Madison Square Garden, and I think that was the last show at Madison Square Garden. And then I had like this break where I wasn't like committed to any touring bands. I was focusing on an art show that I never had due to this pandemic, and just had my schedule clear. So that was kind of nice. I know a lot of the poster people that may be looking at this like lost gigs that were starting to happen or had their year planned out as far as the gig poster community. I had a little bit of a year away from it in a way, and got kind of lucky that way. But other than that, I've been just feeling the need to, and the desire to like connect with my fans, the people that like my art. I kind of miss them. I mean, this weekend we were supposed to be kind of seeing all our collectors at Trips, and I do like that personal connection to the people. So I just started going live on Facebook and just playing around with it, and then I moved over to the Twitch platform. And this is the first time I really show my face on one of these things. Normally I'm just showing myself drawing and trying to draw for people and kind of create some sales and some excitement and some raffles, and just playing with that virtual format, because my audience and John's audience and the Trips audience, I mean, a lot of these people are used to going to shows on weekends and having these plans, and they're sitting at home Friday nights, and I would sit at home Friday night and I'd want to have a drink and hang out with some people, and finally I just started going live, and it felt like I was kind of hanging out with some people. It felt like a little bit at Trips when you have people around your booth and you're experiencing that, except you're seeing everybody chat and everybody can kind of have their voice. So I've tried to take the pandemic as like a new circumstance to, I mean, John, you and I were artists. We sit at home a lot. I mean, we do go out in the world. We are part of the event scene, but we are solitary people in a lot of ways. And so I think we're a part of the population that can show maybe how to like bring to embrace being alone, but like include other people in some ways. You know, like this format will kind of create a way to do that.
Yep, definitely. I even, to that end, I even have a drawing session that I host for a bunch of friends that are artists too, in the same situation you're talking about, where, you know, we're used to being alone, but complete lack of human contact is a little much. And basically what we do is we sit and draw. We don't, it's not like this where like somebody's looking at the screen all the time. We just sit and draw and hang out with kind of casual conversation floating in and out. And it's really nice to be able to like keep working, but be with other people that are still working too, and just like share some thoughts and some human contact. But like you said, we do as artists spend a lot of time at home. So we're kind of maybe a little more prepared for all this than your average bear, maybe.
Except we're gig poster artists.
Yeah, right. That's the catch. With no posters, no gigs.
Yeah, I'm actually printing something right now for a band. Actually, in between our call before talking about starting this meeting and starting this webinar meeting, whatever. I got my printer's proofs sent to me from a project I'm doing for a band that is not releasing a new show or having an event, but they're trying to bring the gig poster thing back for the release of music. You know, they're actually just releasing a single, and they're going to have a poster with it, and you'll see that come out in a couple of weeks. But I feel like bands are finally starting to realize the trajectory of like, we're not touring for a bit. We better come up with some, you know, some income sources, some different things. There's another band I, you know, work with that I've revisited some old classic art we've done together, and we're going to release it as a puzzle. So I'm just starting to like pitch to bands like, hey, it's the time to merchandise, because I'm also experiencing a lot of these collectors of the art we do, but as well collectors of music and people that like to experience music. They have a little more expendable income. Packages of art or music or some personal at-home life enhancement is like what people want. Like $50, $60, $70, $100 packages of some art or an album or something new that they can enjoy for the day. That stuff is selling really well. I mean, I'm selling more shirts and puzzles and merch than I ever have. And I think bands are experiencing some of that, except the ones that have like excess merch from the future tour they're trying to get rid of. I think that might be a struggle for bands. But bands that are coming up with pandemic-related merchandise or ideas, that's where I kind of see bands right now, some of them, and I think that's a great way to go into like the holiday season and into next year's merchandising, live experiences, what we're trying to play with here in the Zoom. I know a lot of bands that do like Zoom experiences and charge tickets, and I think people are starting to try to find their way in the tour industry. That out of everything in the pandemic, that's like the thing that I don't know how that fully comes back. And I think a lot of musicians are really feeling that, and they don't fully see the like future. And they're trying to, I mean, I'm seeing really good musicians getting guitar lessons and stuff like that too. But everyone's trying to be creative. And I think finally we're getting to that. Like, okay, we got to figure this out, especially as we enter like the holiday season and things get kind of colder and people are a little more inside. I think it's time to, I don't know, sell some merch, get your name back out there during the pandemic. This is going to last for the music industry.
Yeah. We had our first question come in for you, Marq. Everyone's wondering what if you could name what bands you're working with.
Well, I can't. I mean, I can say people I've kept in touch with during this pandemic. I mean, I've talked to Dave Schools quite a bit. I mean, we're involved in some projects. You know, we're doing the benefit album for, or the tribute album for Neil Casal of CRB, Chris Robinson Brotherhood, and he got to play with Further and Circles Around the Sun, which I'm wearing their shirt, and he committed suicide before the pandemic. And all his proceeds go to Music Cares Foundation. So I've been talking with him about putting together this album to tribute as a tribute for him. And what a perfect time to do that, other than getting musicians together in a recording studio has been delayed. But they're going to start, this album is going to be pretty great. And there's a lot of great names in the scene on it. It's going to be amazing. So I've been talking to him about that project and some other, just the situation we're in and the situation he's in. And not to speak for musicians, but I think a lot of them are experiencing a forced pause that musicians never get to experience. So somebody like Dave Schools, whose band is like achieved a lot of things, or John McLaughlin's another musician I've been kind of communicating a lot with during this time. You know, they've achieved their career, and they're kind of into like helping new musicians and help the scene continue. And they've kind of changed their focus towards some of that during this time, and they have a really positive outlook because I don't think they need like the touring as much. And so it's like, wow, I get to garden, I get to bike, I get to be with my family and my kids. I mean, I've heard that from a lot of musicians. So that's one aspect of musicians, but then there's like a lot of younger musicians that I think are really struggling with, you know, what the future is.
Are you networking with other poster artists?
You know, maybe I should be more. Marty, that's what this is about.
Right. Yeah, exactly. We're trying to be a, you know, as much of a conduit for that kind of thing as we can, and we hope this is going to encourage other people to get involved with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I worry about my community of artists and musicians very much during this period. I mean, they're one of the people I think about. And, yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of things have, you know, had to be postponed, but Trips has not gone fallow. We've been busy.
Yeah, I've networked a little bit with people, especially in the flat stock world. Well, some of that is through the drawing group, but some of it was to do something like this with them. I've been working on with them somewhat too, along with you guys, to pull something like this together that you know, gets us back in touch with our audience a little bit. That's all. More than just money. It's just it keeps you kind of connected to who you are a little bit, to connect to your audience. I find it very useful. I love it as far as doing live shows, and also this is starting to be that way too. I mean, some of the live stuff I've done is definitely got me work and got my work into online stores around, just from connecting with people, from doing, like you were saying, you were doing live streams on Facebook to start with. I did a couple of those too, and you know, there were like connections made just as if you were at a live show, and I was kind of surprised. I was thinking it may be, you know, people sort of casually passing through like I do when I see a live Facebook show, just kind of check it out for a minute or two and move on. But there was actually some fairly long conversations and connections. So, you know, I've had some jobs recently and haven't done one recently, but I definitely want to get back and do that again, for the connection and also for the work and sales that it brings, you know?
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, this whole format of going online, you know, I saw John Howard on Facebook early during the pandemic, and I was just like, what's John doing? Like, John's coming out of the closet. Like, we're all just kind of
Really?
burrowed in, and just to see John kind of come out, and he's got his studio set up like a poster booth. He was just kind of ready to hang out and sell some work casually or just chat posters. Yeah, that's something I missed, and I love John's approach of just kind of opening up his poster booth whenever the hell he feels like it. Like, that's what it seemed like in the beginning. I know you've been involved in like certain renegades and certain actual events, but yeah, it just seemed like very casual the way you approached it. And I saw you doing sales, but I also got, you brought your posters up close, and I think it inspired me to kind of play with the medium as well. And then I tried the Facebook thing, and I'm usually playing music while I'm just like I do at trips. I usually play music, so my music will get my Facebook videos taken down while I'm doing them. But on Twitch, I can actually play that music, and that's how I like to draw. I actually have a hard time drawing, like just with a camera on my drawing with no music. I need to get in the flow. So that's kind of how I've treated, the videos. Is the other screen you see on this Zoom is just my desk, and that's usually what I'm showing in my videos. So I might move over there in this conversation, and kind of, show some artwork or something. And so that's kind of what I've done, is just kind of show what my hands are doing. I'm actually going to go over and show you guys some stuff right now, since I'm talking about it. So here, we got my face, and we got my stuff. But like one thing I started doing, screen printing, such just a long-winded process. And I did some videos where I just did drawings in one sitting. So here's one of them. Actually, this is the last one I did. So I did 20 of these at different times, like a couple months ago. And then I turned them into Giclée editions.
Nice.
So I scanned in the original drawings and turned them into, but at the time you could watch me draw this, maybe like a 3-hour, 2.5 hour, 3-hour video of me just drawing this. I don't know what I'm going to draw. I just start drawing. And then I've turned all these into kind of my video series that I've sold during the pandemic. And it's been nice to be able to do art kind of like based on how I'm feeling at the time. Like this one, it's totally my style of artwork and my characters, but there's a statue that's got its head taken off and some skulls, and this kind of when the statues were getting taken down. And some of them are able to like get stuff out that about the world, the crazy world we live in right now. It's like screen prints and band work and stuff. It's sometimes we get to express ourselves as artists through doing that kind of stuff, but there's limitations, and it's kind of been nice not to have all these gig posters and all these deadlines as the world is chaotic and people maybe are wanting to do artwork, I don't know, based on how they're feeling that day, not based on an assignment from 2 weeks ago, based on the news that day or like the emotions of that day. And I think that's been a struggle for artists during this time, is like artwork takes a long time, and it's almost been hard to have a consistent emotional approach to artwork for a 2-week period, like during this pandemic, because it's just so up and down. So I've really enjoyed the outlet of just doing quick colored pencil drawings. I make something, I'm done. I can kind of like get things out of my system a little easier during this time.
That's great. I feel you on that. I did some drawings in a couple of the events too, and tried a couple of different ways to work with it. Like on one of them, I think I mentioned to you guys before the gig started, I put up an auction for the drawing I was going to do, and kind of mentioned it a couple of times while I was doing it, and so they could go over and bid on it. And that was kind of fun. It worked out nice, and I'll probably do it again, but it was a little bit complicated to set up, but just to make it more fun, to make it more, I guess, interactive. But yeah, I definitely agree with you with being able to do something that is just right then, right there, and no separations, no waiting 2 weeks for it to be printed or anything. It's just you just close the book on that moment, like right then. It's nice. I think it's gonna, if everything changed back tomorrow, I think it would have doing that would have, you know, I don't know exactly how to say it, but I guess improved my work or something. It works a muscle that you don't usually work, and I think it's helpful. Yeah.
John, what are you drawing right now?
Just a doodle, just a little black and white doodle. I can't stop doodling. Yeah, before the pandemic hit, there's a little coffee shop down the street that would hit at least once a day, sometimes twice. And it was for that human contact and also doing some drawing. And that's where I met a couple other artists there that started the drawing sessions. And now it's like, a little bit more worldwide now that it's on Zoom. There's pluses and minuses to doing this way. For example, doing a show this way, you know, it's a lot of it's the same, but one of the pluses is I've got my stacks of flat files right back there. So
Yeah.
if something comes up, I can go back and see if I've got it right now, or I can find something that I don't ever take to shows because it's like almost sold out. I don't want to take the chance of getting it damaged. But on a show like this, maybe I can spare one. And so that kind of action happens too, which makes it kind of fun.
A couple of the questions we've had have had to do with bands and merch. Are you guys are you getting commissions from bands, and are they commissioning anything besides posters, other types of merch? And the counter question to that is are you suggesting merch ideas to bands to keep you guys busy?
I am. I can't tell you exactly what I'm doing, but I did mention the puzzle thing. That's it. I hate puzzles. But I think like the idea of like listening to like a live show and having a puzzle of that poster to do while you're listening to that live show, that's kind of something I've pitched to bands. We have all this previous artwork we could turn into something, that people can experience, that they can have an experience with. Again, I'm not a real fan of puzzles, but I know people kind of enjoy it as a relaxing thing. So that's something I've done. And then, there is a lot of like charitable, interesting projects and things kind of happening right now. I just got an email yesterday to paint a guitar for a musician that will go up to charity. And normally I would probably say, I don't know how I'll fit that in, but during this period of time, I can kind of be like, all right, I can probably have that in my studio and get to it in the next year because things aren't busy. But I have been reaching out to bands. I think they are ready to hear ideas. The artwork is just, so many of these bands have a legacy of artwork that we've already created for them. And I think there's room to like even revisit some of the classics and reissue them in new ways. Prior to this thing, we were talking about some bands that have maybe just kind of taken that a little bit too far and just kind of reissued posters or whatever. But I think if you're doing it in a real creative way, again, puzzles or new merch based, people can record now. I don't see a ton of bands coming out with new albums, but I know a lot of bands that have like 3 or 4 tracks. And it takes so long to produce a record. And I know during the pandemic, it's even longer. But you can get music. That's super easy to do these days. So I think bands are like, I don't know if I want to hold onto this for an album. I don't know if there's a reason to release an album. I don't know if we can tour on the album, but maybe it makes sense to release a single and get a couple songs out there and release some merchandise with the single and make it an event. All we have is like online events now and stuff. So I see bands kind of being more interested in kind of having merch events, kind of the new release of merch is actually a thing. It's actually something to promote and celebrate. So I'm all about that aspect right now, Marty.
I've been sort of not going after gigs that much. I've actually got a couple recently, but I've been working on some art prints, and it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier about doing something that's like more from you and in the moment. And I've got one at press now. It should be ready in a couple of weeks, and another one I'm working on that is about what we're going through. It's about regeneration and um, I'm really into focusing on that. A gig. I did this one for a weed company that does distribution, and they want some other stuff and a hoodie and stuff as well. And I'm trying to fit that in. I'm doing another job for an ISP, but everybody, it sounds like um, more commercial gigs, but it's really not because they're coming to me knowing what I do in gig posters and just saying, do what you do. So there's no like art directing or anything. So it's really like doing what I do, but just a different route for it to go out.
John, I don't know if you care, but how much weed do you get paid to do a weed poster?
Well, you know what? I took mostly money this time because I got a bonus for sure, but I'm particular about my my strain, and so I
Yeah.
took a little bit of something, but not a lot. Good question though.
The strain you designed the poster for is not necessarily your strain. Is that is
No,
that
this is
true?
just for the general. This is for the whole distribution. It says
Who is it? Who is it, John?
I'll show you. This one might be a little hard to see because it's a foil of it, but the company's called Oz, and
Okay, that's sweet. That makes me want to smoke their marijuana.
there you go. There you go. It has to do that, but not make you feel high, because then that defeats the purpose.
So this is the first time I've tried to set up two cameras.
I'm sorry to step on you there, Mark.
Figured out, but I have kind of this this type of setup for my phone, and then
Oh,
it kind of
okay.
shows what I'm drawing. I'm kind of showing this for other artists that might be interested in taking maybe that approach. As John and I hope other artists will want to do this. We're just kind of messing around right now, but we hope this becomes a thing. A way of selling, a way of communicating, a way of broadcasting, a way of telling the stories of this field.
I don't have a way to turn it around quite like that, but I can show you a snapshot of mine. I've just got what I've got is up top. I've got a laptop on an easel, and it's real easy to just go to drawing mode or go to showing more stuff mode. And on the front, I've got, guess you can see that. I've got on the front, I've got an iPad plugged into it. And you can get an app that you can make the iPad an extension of your screen. And so I've got it plugged in and doing that. So I can more easily see what's going on down here instead of having to look up there all the time where the camera is. That's basically my setup. And I use the same setup whether I'm doing a drawing gig or whether I'm doing like a sales. If I'm doing a sales gig, I have this up a little bit more and I'm standing up more usually, just because I'm showing posters, so it doesn't make sense to stand up and sit down a lot.
No, I kind of wish you were selling. I like John the booth manager videos. Those are great. You're just like interacting with people and showing off things, and yeah, I like that style. It's just like a booth. You're just running a booth, but you're also like able to be a little more casual about it than I feel like at a booth sometimes.
Yeah, totally. And I've got the chats coming in on the phone, so I can have the phone up here, and basically you see a question and you just answer it vocally. It's really not that much different once you get going, especially once you get you start feeling the people in the room a little bit after you do it for a minute, and it gets pretty natural actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm amazed. Like, if people aren't commenting, I feel like I might just sign off. But people are always encouraging, and it just, I don't normally have a cheerleader's drawing. And like now, my collectors on these Twitch videos are, giving me high fives, digital high fives as I'm drawing. I've never experienced anything like it.
Maybe
Corey, that's too long of a chat for us to read.
What's that?
Corey of Further Frames is typing paragraphs.
Well, maybe this would be a good time to mention this. I put up a little page for the show and made a little. Usually at events, I have my setup, and I also have a table. And on the table, I have stuff like, I don't know if you can see, like stickers and patches. And so I made a little page that's got 3 posters that are somewhat trips related, and a whole bunch of little merch to kind of make almost like a stocking stuffer kind of bag. And if somebody could put that link up, there's a hidden page on my site. That should be coming in a second. I'll let you know when it pops up.
There it is.
Excellent.
Great job, Trips admin.
Thank you so much, John. So if anybody's interested, hit that and check it out. There's a tube full of goodies that are at about half the price for all you guys who are helping us out and checking out our little puppet show that we have going on here.
All right.
Have bands asked you guys to do anything besides gig posters? Specific?
Not lately. Not
I
lately.
got weirdest offer yesterday, and I accepted. But I'm like, I'm painting a guitar. But this is like for a charity auction thing. I don't think I would have accepted that during a non-pandemic period.
Just for time?
Kind of experiment a little bit during this time.
Well, have either of you guys tried experimenting with any other kinds of art forms? I know you guys are old school pen and ink guys. Have you tried done any painting or sculpting or?
Well, this is a small step, but I started using colored pencils on some stuff, and I have to say that, thanks back to Mark, after you were saying I got you inspired, well, you inspired me to try colored pencils, and it's a great way to get color in a very straightforward, fast way. I've got a little island of gouache back here too that I use, but
yeah,
a massive set of Derwent pencils right here that are my best friends right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to AJ Maste for taking that art form farther than I've seen anybody take it in recent times. So he does his sketches for his lino cuts in colored pencil, and they're really great. But now, his recent art releases have just been colored pencil, beautiful drawings. Taking it from a guy who was doing the lino cuts. That's such a different medium, especially for him. But for any screen printer, it feels very different. It's very immediate. I made these new little. This is the first one I've done, but I made these new things that I'll be using on Twitch or type of things where it just says something by Spusta. So there's framed pieces of paper ready to go, screen printed with frames, so it's me. It's official.
Do you sell? I saw you that you do the G-Clays, but do you sell? I guess you sell the original drawings.
I do. I have lottery systems for those. But like when I build up a bunch of them, maybe I build up 4 or 5 drawings from a Twitch session, and I'll mix it in with some other high-end rare items, maybe some other originals, and I'll just do like a lottery on my site. So I've done that a couple times this year. I really got a really good momentum on the Twitch thing when I actually did like what I called a draw-a-thon. And, with kids during this pandemic, like getting my own time to really work it's been a challenge, you know, to like block out time, especially during the day. So I stay up at night to kind of get a lot of my work done. But if I had to say I'm going live and I'm drawing, then I'm drawing, then I'm working, then I'm committed. You know, I've committed to my community to work, and I'm working live, and I have accountability. I can't take breaks. So it's helped me, you know, accomplish drawings. I forget the original question, but.
Yeah, it's nice to have a specific time when that's happening, and you can, you know, sort of
Yeah,
into that world, stay there.
Yeah, they're an odd thing. I mean, I'm never on the clock. My studio here is, you know, part of my family's house. You may have heard my little girl always seems to cry her eyes out whenever I go live. We feel bad, and I just hear her in the background and hope she settles down. But she has made some wonderful cameos on my live drawings. Oh, and my draw-a-thon, I was mentioning that. So I did like 9 of these drawings in one day, or in one weekend. And that was, I focused all my proceeds on those original drawings to, you know, forgive me, Donald Trump, but I bailed some protesters out of jail and shit like that. And Minneapolis and stuff when the George Floyd things happened. But just focusing on it and all I had to do was say, like, I'm going to go live a bunch of times these days, and I just committed to it for a weekend. Like, when we go to the TRPS show, we are committing to being there for 8 to 9 hours and selling work and being with fans. And that's what I love about it. It's like, I'm actually working. I'm actually like committed to like being with people and working and selling art. And it's like, I look forward to it. I try to get healthy for it. I try to get ready for it. I try to build up momentum for it because it's a big day. It's like a big, you know, thing. So I tried to recreate that digitally and like invite a bunch of people and really have a weekend where I was online a lot drawing things. And then all those originals and some shirts and everything raised some funds. And man, the community was so supportive of that at that time. I think everybody wanted to be a part of something, and we're not. And same as me. I mean, I'm not gonna go out protesting. I'm not gonna go out doing things. I have a family. I live in the middle of nowhere. But I think a lot of people felt like that during the pandemic, with the world kind of hitting just the roof. I think people wanted to connect and somehow, so just kind of doing a charitable thing that pulled people in. I'm really happy I did it. It brought my community together and connected me with some people, you know, my collectors in a new way, and I really enjoyed the process, and I felt good about it.
That's very cool. I did a benefit as well early on, and I was glad I did that too. It was for COVID research. These French guys asked me to join in, and it's like 100 artists, you know, drawing all day. One Saturday, probably like April sometime, I think, and it went pretty well. And then there was sales afterwards, and mine sold and everything, and so it was totally cool. It was fun.
Yeah, you achieved it all in a day, John. Like, you did the thing, and then it sold that day. Or did they do it like after the event, or how'd that go?
I think it was actually posted right after the event. Yeah, it would have to been because I got a JPEG for him and sent it in, and it didn't exist before the event. So yeah.
Yeah, there's something about that concert experience or the going to a show where it's like, I was there, I participated in it, it's something I did. I mean, we all feel this, you know, when we go to a concert or something. It's nice to a lot of people like to post photos of being there or something. So I think digital events can even have that same effect sometimes in this day and age, where you want to share, I was part of this. I mean, even though it was just online, I communicated with the people. I got this, you know, maybe I got an actual poster or artwork out of it, you know, as we were talking before, that some musicians are even doing that, where they're performing live and then having a poster that but it's all virtual because that's all we can do.
Yeah, I think, and even, you know, the whole thing about posters coming back, quote unquote, the first time, you know, having to do with everything going digital, and very often there's nothing like tactile to connect to the music. And you almost wouldn't think that was that important, but, you know, I mean, vinyl's coming back now and everything, and that's starting to happen a little bit more. But for most people, they don't really have anything tactile in the world besides a JPEG of, you know, an album cover for a digital album.
Yeah.
And,
I
you know, I think that's just an important thing.
Yeah, I see people in this pandemic buying their first record player, you know, or, you know, getting more art for their walls or talking about that. I mean, I've done home remodeling, and I had somebody build these beautiful vinyl record cabinets for me. You know, I've been messing around with just homey life enhancement, you know, type of stuff, and I think a lot of people are you know, kind of feeling that right now.
Yeah.
My family comes from a home remodeling business in Wisconsin, which we've actually sold during this pandemic. But man, when they opened up, sorry for my iPod or iPad management, but when they opened up, like the workers could go remodel houses and stuff, my family's business at the time had never received more calls to, like, you know, people want to improve their spaces, improve their at-home life.
Oh yeah.
Organize their closets, put some artwork up, listen to records.
Definitely. There's a plant nursery there's two close by here, and the short hours they are open, there's a line constantly, you know.
Right.
People
Right.
tending gardens in a broad sense, you know.
So hey, I want to try this just to try it. Hey Arlene, great to see you here. There's only 14 people here, but let's try a giveaway. You know, I know it's mostly artist friends and Trips people, but I just want to experience like a giveaway process in this video, and so we can kind of explore that in future videos. But this is a new print nobody's seen. This is a variant edition of my latest timed edition. So I sold, you know, whoever wanted to buy this version of the poster within, I had two versions. I'll show you one of them. This is the one screen print I've really released during the pandemic. So anybody that I sold it for like a week, and had, you know, really happy with the sales. But this is the variant edition, which there's a bunch of them that'll be given away randomly in the people that purchase the posters, and then we'll sell them other ways. But I want to give one away.
Hey, we're not seeing it. We're not seeing the poster, Mark. People are saying they can't see it.
So I have two screens. You're looking at my face on one screen, and there's another Zoom screen of mine that says Marq Spusta.
There we go. I'm seeing it. I hope everybody else is.
So this is an Absinthe, one of my favorite papers. We'll include this little drawing in here just so I can only send one package. This is like a rubbery Absinthe paper. I love it. I always do my variants. And there's 22 in this edition. So I'll roll this up in a tube and send it to somebody. Everyone here is eligible, including Marty, Arlene, all our friends, except for our guy that's picking it behind the scenes. So we have 21 participants. I'd love to send one of you guys a tube. I think I know everybody here and appreciate most of you people. So accept some of my art. Let's pick a winner. You're all entered.
Please explain rubbery absinthe paper.
Yeah, right. The color is absinthe, and the texture is rubbery. I love this rubbery paper. It has a smooth surface. I just got it wet. That doesn't matter because it'll rub off. It almost has a plasticky finish.
Huh.
John, if you're interested in screen printing on this paper, it's great. The brand Curious makes a line of it, and there's another brand of paper that makes a line of it. I love it. I love printing on metallics, but I also love printing on this rubbery paper. It just kind of pops off the paper in nice ways. I don't know. People call them my rubber papers. There's like 5 or 6 colors I use.
Do the people call it rubbery where you get it, or is that a description more? Like what's it? What would you ask for to buy it? Do you know?
So this paper, I hate saying the real names, but I'll tell you, John, and we've got not many people. This paper is called Skin, and it does have a texture slightly like your skin, maybe. And then there's another paper like it called Plike, and I don't know what that means, but it has a rubbery texture. It feels, you know, and then I did other, you know, this paper of the main edition, this is just on like, you know, a metallic chartreuse or olive. That's normally what I use, but this is kind of a metallic paper. So at some point, I don't know, in chat or Marty will know, we'll just have a winner for that.
Yeah, Nick's supposed to be picking our winner. Hopefully he'll let me know, or want to get a message to us somehow.
Drum roll.
We'll announce a winner. Well, we'll let the suspense build.
Yeah, I mean, that content's over. Let's move on.
That's generous of you, Mark. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I got a lot of this paper with my artwork on it in this bedroom or in the studio. So.
Now, you guys, neither you sub out your printing work, both of you guys, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
John, are you using Monolith now too?
Me, I have been forever. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Are you finding the printers are able to stay busy?
Pretty much. They were closed for a while and eased back into it. And as far as I can tell, I just got a print in down there. And as far as I can tell, they're, you know, chugging along, hanging in there, I think.
Kind of. You know, Monolith does like a lot. You know, as well as the event and gig poster industry, they also do a ton. They're kind of like Silicon Valley, you know, like Facebook is a client of theirs, and I don't think they want me saying all their clients, but they also work for a lot of people that like internal posters as kind of like internal propaganda, motivational posters. Internal designers in Silicon Valley make a poster, they want 200 for around their campus, whether it's Google or Facebook. I think Apple, he works for a ton of them. And those industries, I mean, Facebook's not going back to their office until next summer. And that's what I hear from a lot of these businesses. So that's one. Oh, we got a winner. Nice. It's Johnny A. All right, good.
All right, John.
That's great. And they did have to lay off some of their printers for a while. And, you know, I think they've started to build back up and get somewhat busy again. But, you know, it's a struggle for them because they have big businesses built up that are supposed to accommodate a certain amount of jobs coming through. And I think it's hard to get that many jobs coming through right now. So, you know, as this time progresses and stuff, you know, if you ever see, you know, my printer proofs or anything being sold online by my printers, I mean, I fully support. This is a time, you know, the people that have worked for me through the years should kind of be like cashing in on some of their leftover prints or whatever. So if you just see any of that online or whatever, I mean, I'm strongly supporting any printers, any people that work at the print shops to, you know, do what they need to do to get through this tighter period. And the thing with Monolith Press, and I've worked with Monolith Press my whole printmaking career, or my whole poster career. It's kind of who I know. But most of their printers are also in bands. So they kind of like manage their schedule with tours and stuff. And so it's like both those outlets are closed off. I mean, the reason a lot of these printers begin is because they're like in punk bands. I know that's the case with multiple printers where they like started printing for their own merchandise and their own bands and their own tours, and then started taking on other artists and kind of built from there. And so a lot of their background and their origins are from like, they were in the touring business as well. So I've experienced that a lot of them are kind of, you know, experiencing a double whammy of their gig poster screen printing life being kind of hurt. But then, you know, my printer at Monolith Press for the past 10 years, Ross, I mean, he's opened up for Guar every other year, and, you know, he's always touring. And sometimes I plan my jobs around when he's going to be around, because I like the way he color on my mini jobs and stuff. So they're working, it's a struggle.
I think that a technical bump is that I think that when we went to Mark's drawing,
Yes.
pinned that, and I think it's still pinned. Whoever did that need
Oh yeah,
unpin it, and they're
Yeah.
just seeing that picture right now.
that's right.
So somebody needs to unpin.
I feel bad about that. You're all sitting in my artwork.
Yeah, I hope people can see screens besides that one.
No, it seems like people are commenting. They only have one view at a time. John's right. It's pinned.
Yeah, they could
we
be
go.
in worse places. That's a nice place to be stuck. There we go.
Yeah, now we're good. You guys want to see what I've really done during the pandemic? It's my Lego table. No, I'm just kidding. It's Lego table. But man, it's been all about, for me, you know, during this pandemic, is like managing having my kids here all the day where I can still work. Yeah, I think I'm pinned again. Split screen is best.
I almost forgot. There's one thing I did for a label, logo for a label. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Oh yeah, whose recording label is that?
It's a friend of Acid Mother's,
Nice.
and it's called Monkey Revolution Records. Quickie.
John, are you really into Acid Mothers? They are a trip.
Yeah, I love them live, and they're the sweetest people. I've done their poster for like 12 years now. And
I have some of their records more from like 12 years ago, and I mean, they are all over the map. I mean, there's like kind of like chanting hymns mixed with just deep psychedelia, acid fuzz. I mean, where are they at now? As like,
yeah, it even goes into like troubadour sounding music, and it's a really good mix and really fun.
What a fun band to do posters for. No limit. Right?
It's right up my alley. I feel like I'm just wide open to do whatever I want to do, because most of what I want to do works. It's great when you get a matching like that. Uh-oh, Mark fell down. There you are.
Yeah, I fell down. Yeah. I got to figure out these cameras, you know, in the future. Like I said, I haven't shown my face on these live broadcasts before, and I keep moving. I can't sit still.
Well, guys, we can keep going as long as you want. If you want to, you know, keep chatting, or feel like our test is we've accomplished what we want to. What do you think? Any other work you'd like to show?
I could show the one I'm working on, but it'll take me just a second to fire it up on the other computer. I don't know, maybe save it for next time, but
I'm checking out the chat. You have a face for radio. Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, comedians in here, huh?
And also a note to everybody watching, please, you know, note what you liked about what we're doing here, and we're taking suggestions. We're going to expand this thing. We're going to keep you know, getting comfortable with these new tools and building on it, and we're moving towards something bigger. But
yeah,
and we're going to keep doing these small, you know, these events as you know, just pop-up things, and we're going to do a series of them. We're going to archive them, and this you know, we could build something pretty fun here.
If I had advertised this to my community, I would have done, you know, a lot more with this time, and I think we all feel that way. I mean, John hasn't sold anything. Every time I see him online, he's showing off posters and people are able to purchase them, and you know, we're kind of experimenting with this process, but and this is mostly trips people and insiders, but it has endless potential as far as once you reach your actual audience, and how you want to, use this format to sell art, to tell your story. One thing that when Marty and John and I have been talking for a while about things we could do to replace trips, and this is just kind of a, something we're going to build. But we've just had so many different ideas of how we could interact with our fans, what they got out of the trips experiences, things we missed out on trips that we can do in a virtual setting. Sometimes people's booths are kind of bombarded. Maybe this is a chance to ask Stanley Mouse a good question without paying for the $150 signature. No disrespect to Stanley. But, those guys and a lot of the dealers and a lot of the artists just have, I would love to be a guy going from booth to booth and being able to have those conversations with artists and learn more about it. So I hope this format can pull in the fans and the other artists, so we can all just kind of bounce off of each other and experience stuff that we could not experience at trips. Not a substitute for what trips was, but rather use this new format to elevate some different aspects that are hard to do when you have all these people in line for a poster show and they want to see everybody's booth and they're distracted. This is a different format, and I think it can create some different opportunities. Instead of, we can't go do this, so let's do this instead. I think this is something different that can turn into something different and has its own potential. And once we get back to being out in the world, maybe this is still an aspect of trips, and maybe this pulls people in and out, and we have our events. Who knows? But this period of time when everyone's locked down, it's not just that we're stuck and we can't go out and sell our work in the same way. It's that everyone else is kind of experiencing the same thing. So everyone has a new kind of attention span. And we're doing this on a Friday night. I think if we did it in a Friday night in the future, if we weren't competing with Trey Anastasio or whatever streams, people aren't doing as much, and people have more time to focus on these kind of, digital live experiences, especially if they're included, if they can participate in purchasing or winning or commenting or chatting or whatever. So I like the potential of this. And again, we kind of tried this as a trial just to kind of play around with the format and show it to other artists and stuff, and try to make it seem really accessible and easy as something to kind of play with in the future. And we have some great technical support at Trips that can kind of put this together. We have some people behind the scenes kind of moderating things as we're doing this. And this is not something John and I could do on our own as easy. When John and I do our own Zooms or Twitches, we're kind of running things on our own. And if we have to take a piss, it becomes a problem. But I think in this format, like with the help of, Trips and things, there's potential. And I hope you other artists will want to kind of explore this format and sell some work through it, tell some stories through it, pull some people into your world. And that's kind of what Trips, the event, has been about in the past for me. I've certainly built my career around Trips. I still remember the first Trips I did, and Marty encouraged me to do the poster, and maybe I'll win the Trips poster, and maybe people will pay attention to my art. And 11 years later, that's been one of my, two Trips shows a year kind of has just been a beautiful gauge of like the community and my peers and being inspired by the other artists. And I hope this digital format can turn into something that can provide some of those kind of nourishments for artists.
Yeah.
And
we all miss getting together, but for the foreseeable future, this is what we deal with. So I think the goal is to not only make the best of it, but to build something that expands on the kind of thing we've been doing before. Really connecting artists with the fans. Nothing really replaces that live experience of all of us getting together in one big room and having a big party. But there's always more. We've got a lot to take advantage of here.
Yeah.
And I want to especially say thanks to you guys, John and Mark. You guys have been so enthusiastic about doing these things, and to have the artists throw in with our efforts is what we've wanted trips to be from the beginning. You know, a real partnership, and it's feeling that way. And I think it's actually gonna be more that way going forward.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
sounds good. Hey, maybe I'm going out. Maybe I'll show a poster and kind of do what I usually do when I'm showing posters, and just like pick something and show it for a minute. How's that?
Go for it.
John, let's experience your booth style.
I'm just gonna grab something random here and talk about it.
Oh, look at that chair branded. You're fucking on it, John. Oh, can we swear on these? I'm sorry.
I think so.
All right. This is Black Angels at Primavera Sound in Barcelona. And Primavera Sound is a show I do just about every year in Barcelona. In fact, part of what I did early during the pandemic is work to get my Air France ticket costs back. And so this poster was printed in Barcelona. There's a woman named Gemma, mono stereo, that's become a great printer lately. I met her at the very first show in Barcelona, or not. Maybe it was the second one, but it was when we had a chorale. It was a great show that year. And so she's just like the coolest person. And so I sent over files and she printed them there. And then when I got there, I picked them up and took some back to the band. And when I got back there, they were just starting to go on stage to like tune up and stuff. And so I ran into them and we dug it and took it backstage, and it was a great show. Actually, the show, they had this red and blue video going on behind them that was spinning around and stuff, and it turned out this poster was like more appropriate than I even knew.
Yeah, actually, I felt like it kind of, I don't know, some of their album covers are kind of like remind me of that poster in a way. Some of the they have like psychedelic spirals and stuff that almost throws back to like a Moscoso type of eye fry type of art.
Totally.
But yeah.
The guitarist is an artist, and he does a lot of that real sharp graphic op art kind of stuff.
Oh, did he do the cover for their like triple album Surfy thing? He might have done it then.
I think so. It definitely looks like it, but I don't know for sure.
I do want to ask you, so did you go to that Malcolm Mooney show? What's that connection? Because Malcolm Mooney was like, he was the original singer to Can, and then he came back to Can in the late 80s, and he's just a really psychedelic vocalist.
This was actually fun. This was a Desert Days show, and I found out he was going to be there. And so I asked about doing a poster, and we started working on it. And he's in Canada now. He's actually an art teacher, a college art teacher.
Nice.
So he got in touch, and he liked what I was doing with the lettering. And this part of it right down here on the bottom, this figure, is his drawing.
Oh.
And so that's included into the whole thing. His drawing is kind of looking on the rest of the stuff there. And it turned out that Desert Days couldn't afford to do as many posters as they wanted to do that year. I guess this was a couple of years ago. And so they were going to have to cut his because they were doing artists that had, a little bigger names than his is now, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, we couldn't let it go. We had like worked on this and wanted to do it. And so we printed it up anyway and gave Desert Days a few and then kind of divided them up. And I think some of his went to a charity. Stuff to We're happy to do the Malcolm Mooney because that is the best music to work with. It's just like slow and paced a lot of times and it just keeps going. It's like you can really get some work done with a Can song.
Yeah, I've played that music a lot during like my Twitch sessions, and during my Twitch sessions, um, I'll try it once, but like I've gotten a pretty good stereo setup during this, and I just blast the music so that who cares what I'm saying?
Is that the same Can, the prog band from the 70s?
Yeah, Krautrock.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned Billy Perkins here. Yeah, I was staying with him this year. We were pretty disappointed not to get to go to Barcelona. Sorry, I switched the. I just
Have you
saw
been to the Desert Days thing then?
Oh yeah, I've done a bunch of Desert Days. That is the coolest little festival ever.
Man. Yeah, that looks really cool. Even the promotion and the promoters that put it on, it looks like is that who's hiring you then? Like the promoters of the festival versus Malcolm Mooney?
Well, this one, yeah, it was going to be the promoters, but we ended up just doing it ourselves.
Right. Everyone check out the Can album, Right Time. That is Malcolm Mooney's. He gets funky on that one. Do you know that one, John?
Yeah.
It's like a later Can when he kind of comes back. Yeah, I find myself listening to a lot of like old 70s and 80s music during this pandemic, like not being contemporary, like retreating into some lost decade in Germany or something, like German prog rock, or just escape to something else.
Daniel Suzuki is great too. That whole era is really great too.
Have you done anything for Damo? Seems like you would have. Have you done anything for Damo Suzuki?
I'm sorry, for who?
Have you done anything for Damo Suzuki?
I have not.
Okay.
I totally would though. I've like come close a couple of times. He was doing something. What was it? And I was just in contact and it got canceled. I can't remember what it was or why it was canceled, but I think it was a New York City show or something.
Nobody knows what I'm talking about, but all you Trips people that are into like psychedelic rock and American rock, like check out Can. And we're talking about different vocalists from Can over time. And Damo never sung in English, right? He's all Japanese kind of craziness, like Acid Mothers. Acid Mothers is Japanese?
Yeah.
And that band goes everywhere, but we recommend them.
Yeah.
Maybe we should make album recommendations a feature of the show.
It's been a feature of my Twitch sessions. Like I said, I'm playing music, I'm showing the album covers, and then they get banned because we can't, or the audio gets banned on my videos after they get re-released. When they're live, I can do it, and then after they have no audio. But I don't care. I need to play audio while I'm drawing and working with people. But I feel like I've exposed a lot of people to a lot of records during this time, and go support this band and buy this record, even though a lot of the stuff I listen to is earlier music, 70s and 80s. But I don't know, it maybe it's mean to be, or maybe it's against the law to be playing a band's music, but I'm like, I bought this record, I want you guys to buy this record, just listen to this, go buy it. I'm not trying to steal their music, I'm trying to promote their music. I'm a music promoter. But I got into Twitch as a format through Questlove, the DJ for The Roots. And he was kind of getting the same banning of his like live feeds because he was playing a lot of music, and he kept getting cut off. And he actually started like to legally battle Facebook and other companies like, hey, like people need to be exposed to this stuff. I'm just trying to have an online party during this pandemic. Like, please, like pull back the rules, pull back the reins so we can connect with people. If he was doing that DJ thing live in a venue with 4,000 people, no problem. He can do that fine. But once he's broadcasting to 500 people on the internet, there's algorithms that come and jump on the music he's playing and kind of shut him down. And so his argument was, again, like, this is like a live event. I'm trying to create a live event in a virtual setting. So let me do that. Let me DJ. Don't police me harder than you would police me in the real world. Even though I'm broadcasting to whoever, and Questlove probably has 1 million viewers, but he has had some wonderful DJ sets exploring artists, an artist that passed away, like a Bill Withers or probably Toots during this period. And, you know, in my opinion, what he's doing is like, you know, it's good for these artists. And I've just kind of tried to follow. I mean, I'm not a DJ or anything, but I try to, I don't know, let those morals work within my thing. Like I want to think it's okay to play music and to try to expose music during this time when like people are looking for new music. Maybe they could use a new band, a new, you know, Can. You can spend a freaking month exploring Can. That's what you should do for winter. Explore Can's catalog, and you know it will take you down all these paths of like cultural things and you know musical things and whatever. So, I don't care sharing that stuff during this time. I think people are ready, you know, to be exposed to new things during this pandemic. And since my voice is on the internet, and 30 people are looking, go listen to Can. Go do something.
Yeah, she brings the rain.
We can play music here. There's nobody to cut us off here.
Feels like spring. Magic mushrooms out of dream.
So
Rain.
this is neither Malcolm Mooney or Damo, is it?
Rain.
No, it's not. I can't remember.
The other vocalist. Yeah. This is as tame as Can get.
Yeah, this is real. This is mellow. I didn't want to upset the conversation.
Right. Right. Well, I got nothing more unless we got questions or whatever.
I think we've worked through it pretty well. From what I'm seeing on the comments, I think people like it. Anybody's got last minute questions, get them in quick.
Yeah, you know, I'd love some participation.
Please send feedback on the session. I've got feedback here too.
I knew Can before you were born, Mark. I know, Rick. I know. I know. I'm sitting here talking about the 70s, like, check this out.
This next one is a slow dance, and it's a lady's choice.
Yeah. It's 52 degrees in the city. Highways and byways.
I'm going to show some art.
Stay safe out there. And
We'll have traffic and weather coming up shortly.
Sort of.
Okay, now we're getting goofy.
So anybody that wants to look at, I don't know if you want to pin me. I'm showing my desktop. This is a new screen print I'm going to release. I called it a sprout amongst the doubt. It's just like, I don't want to explain my eyebrows. How do you guys do the split screen?
Yeah, I think we got a couple of bugs to work out on that.
Okay.
yeah, you just the thing is you got to remember to unpin it, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to remember, I mean.
Yeah, I've got it up there, but it's kind of on a little thumbnail screen.
Yeah, I wonder if I don't think I can pin it. That doesn't do anything for you, does it?
Oh, that's cool.
Did that do it?
Yeah, that's sweet.
Okay.
What's that?
I had the power to pin. I didn't realize I did.
Oh, how'd you do that, John?
I clicked on it and you get a choice to pin it or unpin it.
Okay.
I assumed I didn't have that kind of power on this one because it's not mine. We need an official pinner.
We just were given the power, apparently.
Wish you had. Toasted.
Well, should we let the music play us out?
That sounds so professional. I like it.
Thanks everybody for checking us out, and you know, let us know how we can, you know, improve this thing, expand on it, fit something that you have in mind, add features to it. What are we missing? What are we doing well? What did we completely screw up? Let us know what you guys think, and we're gonna be doing this again really soon, and we will let all of you know about it, and bring some other people into it too. And believe me, in the meetings we've had, there's more ideas for content that we can fit into something like this. So
Yeah.
It's going to evolve. This was a gas, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, very fun. We're just exploring one tentacle of what's been discussed. So
yeah.
And who we have here is a lot of you know, our peers and people in trips. They're not our customers. They're not the normal trips attendees. So that kind of a different dynamic of selling and interest and all that stuff. So that's a whole nother world. And this is just kind of trying out the system and playing around. But there's just room to play around. You don't have to be intimidated by the format or whatever as we go forward. We'll just maybe stick a couple artists together and bounce off of each other, have some sales, have some events. I don't know where this is going.
Well, we hope where it's going to go is it is going to mean some sales for people and opportunities for new work and ways to support charitable events. We are going to have an Artist Relief Trust poster this year, and we're just trying to figure out how to fit it all in, how to build this, you know, build this thing a piece at a time, and that's where we're going.
Somebody cut off my video. I was going to roll credits for you guys.
Well, we've got your psychedelic visage here in front of us.
Roll credits. Very fun, you guys.
Okay. Very fun. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody, for the help in the back end.
Thank you.
Night all.